Hello, and welcome back. It is time for some watercoloring, and this is one of the first techniques I did when I joined Stampin' Up. I love coloring, and watercoloring is a way that you can get into the coloring world without spending a ton of money, which I thought was pretty cool. And I really do like the techniques that you can get. Now, I am not a messy, artsy fartsy kind of colorer. I'm just not. I don't get messy. So I'm not going to show you ways to spritz and ways to pour and and there's so much more that you can do with these. But I'm going to show you how to color because that's what I do. So first things first, I want to talk about what some of the supplies are. Hey, Marion. So let me take you into the catalog because that's a good way to find some of them. And by the by, if you don't have a catalog from me, or a catalog, lots of people send them, but if you don't have a catalog and would like a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator to send you one, hey, that's me. Just drop me a note. You can post it in here, or you can go to my blog, which is really, you want to make sure that you go there today. And down at the bottom of the main page is a place that tells you like where all the links are, YouTube, etc. If you click on YouTube and say subscribe, you will make sure that you get notified when I post new videos. So that's a good place to start. The other place that you want to do so you don't miss anything is up on the top right hand side. It will say email, subscribe, something. I'll post it later so you can see it, but just sign up there. I don't send you tons of stuff. I really don't. I let you know what's going on. I send you specials. I sometimes send some fun sketches for you to use. So anywho, those are the two things. But you want to go to the blog. And the next thing I wanted to talk about was if you wanted the catalog, there's a place there to send me a note. And you can say, I really, really need a catalog. I understand it's online, but I need something in my hot little hands. Hey, Bridget, Deborah, welcome. Okay, so this is the annual catalog that we're looking in. And on the bottom of page 144, you will see two different watercolor assortments. One of them, it has 13 of the Stampin' Up! Colors, all the good ones. Bermuda Bay, Calypso Coral, I'm not going to read them all. Then there's Watercolor Assortment 2, and this was a special for a little bit, but they've continued it because we love them, and it has 10 more colors. So altogether you could have 23 watercolor pencils that would really give you a great variety. And what's cool about Stampin' Up!, if you're matchy-matchy like me, everything matches. So it all goes together. You don't have to worry that it's the wrong red or the wrong yellow. It all goes together. Okay, so that's that, right? Page 144. Turn the page. And over here, this is the ink that you need. It's called StazOn. It's the black ink that you need to use with watercolors. If you use the regular Stampin' Up!, it is a water-based ink. If you're going to color these the way I'm coloring them, you can get away with it. If you're going to be heavy with the water part, you can't really use regular inks with it or it tends to smear, all right? So if you want the best success, you want to use the StazOn. That's on page 146. And then the other piece that you definitely need to do this the way I'm going to show you is the blender pens. I love these. They come 3 in a pack. They last a long time. There's 2 tips on them. They're not refillable, but they last a really long time. All right. One more thing. Watercolor paper. This is just a piece that I have left over, but watercolor paper is on page 153. It's thick. It absorbs the color, and I'll show you the difference when we get there. Okay, so now, this is the card that we're going to make today during this little project. My camera's off a little. There. I'm trying to get used to this darker black background. I'm used to having my light blue aqua tiles, but I moved that table. It's kind of over there. It gives me lots more room But now I need this to be, this is the table that I'm going to use to share with you. It actually lets you see a little bit better too. It's not quite so busy a background. I just have to work on it a little bit. It's my first time doing it. I picked today to do that. All right, so what are we using for this? We are using the Wildly Happy stamp set. Now, if you were here for the introduction, I said I would show you how to use the Simply Citrus kit if you don't have these supplies, and we will after we do this one. Okay, so the Wildly Happy stamp set. I love this one. All these little baby animals are the sweetest things. So that one. We're, of course, using the StazOn. We are using watercolor pencils, and what I've done with mine is I picked myself up one of the stamp cases. If you've been following me, you know I use these for everything. This is one of the wide ones, and this becomes my coloring kit. Let me show you how this works. So let me zoom back out again. All right, so the coloring kit that I created, it holds all your pencils, even the ones that the dog chewed. Yep. It holds your blender pens when you take them out. You just pop one in here because you don't need all of them. You just need one. And then the cool part, notice this has this like little, I'm trying to do it without dumping all the pencils. See how this comes out, this plastic cover on the front? Okay. So let's say you've created some watercolor pieces that you're going to color on. You're going to take those and you're going to slide those down in here. You can do all your stamping ahead of time, slide a few of these in, and then pop this in your purse or your the bag that you're going to carry out to sit on the deck, and you can color wherever you are. Because once you've stamped them, these are just ready to color. So this becomes kind of a kit, and it protects them because it's in this little plastic thing. All right, now I have to get it back out without dumping the pencils while I show you this with my other hand. Okay. All right. So, and we need to build this card. The sketch for this is on my blog. Remember I said you're going to want to go there. You're going to want to check it out. It says today's the day. And if you go there, all the sketches, all the supply lists, all the videos, they'll all be posted. I'll keep adding to them. So that post is going to get really long as the day goes on. We're going to start with a sheet of 8.5 by 11 Whisper White cardstock, cut in half. And then it's going to be 8.5 by 5.5. We're going to score at 4 1/4. Again, all those measurements are on the blog. You don't have to memorize this. And that is our card base. Okay? Cool. Then we're going to start with a piece of Early Espresso cardstock. This is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm going to use some Seal. I don't need Seal Plus, I just need regular. Let me show you both of those in case you're wondering, what is she talking about? Seal is the adhesive from Stampin' Up. Hello, Debbie from Kansas. Seal and Seal Plus, light blue, dark blue. Seal Plus is the super heavy duty deluxe extra sticky. This is your everyday seal. You'll notice if you look back on the blog, I did a video on how to get this to stick really well. Not stick, dispense, that's the word. I struggled when this came out, I really did. It's just a little different than our previous adhesive. So let me show you. Make sure it's sticky here. And sometimes you might need to start it a little and then make sure it's sticky. And then you're gonna put it down, not super heavy. And you're gonna roll it along. And when you get to the end, you're gonna roll your hand back. Roll and back. Roll and back. Roll and back. Right? And then your adhesive is really good. Okay, so now I'm going to put this down, making sure I center it. It's going to leave me a white border around it. All right, so there, that is that part. Next, I have some Designer Series paper, and this is from Playing with Patterns, which truly has to be one of my favorites. I love all the colors. I'm going to miss Penny, who's not here today, who every time I say it's my favorite, she picks on me because I literally have everyone's my favorite. but this is playing with patterns. It's 6x6. It's just awesome, right? Super cool colors. You'll see me using this one. And the trick to remember is when you get your new pack of Designer Series paper, on the package tells you the colors. It tells you in other languages too if you want to learn that, but it tells you in English. Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana. They're off, Rosemary? Ooh, let me fix them. I'm sorry. I'll go back and look. I knew I was posting too many things at once this morning. So this is 5 1/4 by 4. If I have the wrong number there, I will fix it. And this is 3 3/4 by 5. Is that one right? Shoot. That's what I get for trying to do too many at once. This is again from playing with patterns. So we're going to take our handy dandy little trimmer. I like this side too. And roll, roll and flick, roll and flick, roll and flick. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know, and I will go check it. Don't anybody print that yet. Let me get it fixed. I will as soon as I get done here. So there's my card base ready to go. Now, I love, 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 you've heard me talk about these before, the stitched shapes. It comes in circles and squares and ovals in one pack of dies. Did you know what's coming in September? Yeah, Stampin' Up's new die cut machine's coming. I bet you saw it. You previewed it in the catalog and you thought, when, and we told you it wasn't coming right away. Now, if you are a demonstrator, it comes in August. But if you are not, you have to wait a little bit longer. So if you wanted to get this early, you could join my team. I'd love to have you. We're going to get the big one first, and then this one, this little mini one, will be here by Christmas. But demonstrators can start ordering on August 4th. Some of the perks of being a demonstrator. And it's not hard. So if you're thinking, well, gee, I like the discount, I might want to get it early, drop me a note. I'll tell you all the dirty details. Okay, so we're going to use these. I already did this first, so I wouldn't have to run away. So I took another sheet of Designer Series paper from this pack. I don't know if I can remember which one it was. Oh, it's this one. That's what it looked like. And I took that circle, popped it on there. So then we have this. And then I have one, and this is from the watercolor paper. You can't really tell, but it's got texture. The watercolor paper absorbs the pencils better. It's really cool, and that's gonna go like that. I also have a scrap of regular Whisper White, and I'm gonna use that to put my sentiment on. And again, I tried to pick things that I use all the time. I use the stitched shapes all the time. I use the classic label punch all the time. They're just really, really useful things that you won't just use one time. And then that's that. So I'm going to get my stays on. Oh, there's another tool. Where did I put it? I'm still struggling with, where did I put that? When I put things away here, I'm still not sure what I did with it. I will find it. I think it's in the next project. It is my silicone craft sheet, and it really is gone forever. Now that I have more room, I have even more room to get lost. I have a couple of them too because I use them often. And if I don't find it, I will show it to you next time. I'll use this for now. This is my piercing pad, and I can use that to stamp on. So I need my bunny and for you. Now, I didn't do this before because I wanted to show you. Our cling stamp sets come with this. And you might wonder, well, what is that? This is what tells you what the stamp is when you're looking at the back. So these are the bunnies. I'm going to take the bunny that's right here, and see, it's got a little slit, so it helps me fold this. Super sticky. And then I'm going to take this stamp, line it up so it fits right in the hole. You only have one shot. You can't do it again. And peel it up. And now I know what the stamp is. And it clings really well to my clear block. So there's that one. And this one says, for you. Which is hard to make sure that you have it right side up when you're looking at it, just the stamp. So there's for you. Will cause less boo-boos when you actually use it. Alrighty. So we are going to stamp for you on here. Ugh, I knew that happened. Hold on, I just lost you. One sec. I love it when you disappear. You'll be back. Hold on. There. Phew. Okay. I want... this block from a bunny, right? And see, I can see down through nice, so I can tell what I'm doing. And then this block. All right. So for you is going to go right here. Make sure that you have your ink nicely covering it. And then you're going to take your punch. Slide this in. Now I want this close to the end, like so. You're thinking that doesn't look balanced. Trust me, it'll be okay. So there's that. And now, hey Vicki. All right, so I'm going to put this aside so I don't lose it. And now I'm ready to do my bunny, and I'm going to do her, mom and baby, on the watercolor piece. So make sure that, again, you have ink nice and smooth. See all the detail? And I'm going to set her up right there. There she is. This StazOn comes with this little clear plastic gizmo. Don't throw that away. Cover it back up. It keeps it from drying out. Okay? So there's your StazOn. And now we're ready to work with Mama and Baby. I decided to make mine more realistic. We have the sweetest little mommy and baby bunnies that show up in the front yard every morning. The birdseed falls on the ground and then the mama bunny comes. They're so cute. So Mama Bunny is gonna and Baby are gonna be in early espresso. I need all my colors here. Ooh, crushed curry would be too yellow. Let's see, she's over here. Here's our early espresso. And then I'm going to use some old olive for the grass and a little bit of pool party for my sky. And then I need some Calypso Coral. Notice those are all Stampin' Up! Colors. I need my Calypso Coral for my bunny ears. So here's why I love watercolor. It is super satisfying. I'm going to zoom you in so that you can see. And it's really easy. It takes a little practice, but it's so satisfying. So here's what you do. You're going to kind of use the stamp as your tool where you want the heavy color. And you're going to put down some color. Notice I'm not coloring neatly. I'm just getting color down. Under her chin, you know we all have that kind of shading under our chin. Yep. And then along her haunches here. Maybe on her feet, along here. Add some color. A little bit here. A little bit more in here. Okay, just kind of around the edge. All right. Then I'm going to take, and we can do Baby Bunny at the same time, but I'm going to take my blender pen and I'm literally going to just pick up that color because this is a small stamp. It's not very huge. And I'm going to use this almost as a paintbrush. Now, the reason I recommend that you use the watercolor paper is it's really forgiving. You can do this on your regular Whisper White. You have to be careful because you could end up getting it kind of, if you've ever I'm trying to think of how to put this without sounding gross. The paper just kind of balls up and gets all gummy when you're scrubbing it. And I'm not really scrubbing it, but I'm kind of going in circles. And notice how I didn't color the entire bunny, but by doing this paper lets me do that. It's really forgiving. And I'm getting kind of the shadows and the shading without working super hard. And I'm not going to go right around her eye because it might be lighter there. And I can come back and go over it again if I need to. But it makes you look like you're an artist. This blender pen is magical. Okay, now I need to kind of blend this in a little more. All right, so there's that. Now I've got to do something because notice the tip of my blender pen has brown. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little too close. It's got the early espresso on it. So I'm going to take just a scrap of this is actually watercolor, but Whisper White, and I'm just going to wipe on it until my blender pen is clear. And you can see that it is. Even though my pen itself is stained a little, it's not rubbing off. Okay, so then I'm going to take my Calypso Coral and I'm going to do the inside of her ear, the tip of her nose. I'm going to do Baby Bunny while we're at it so you can see how you don't have to do this in stages like I just did. You can do this kind of all at once. It's basically putting color down. All right, and then blender pen again. Start with the lighter colors. And work your way into the darker color. See, we kind of got a little bit of the pink going in here. And the same thing, I'm going to start with the pink on her nose and work it out. And the pink on the ear. And then work into the brown. So I didn't really even have to like blend the colors together. They just kind of do that. Because I'm using them without cleaning my blender brush in the middle, my blender pen. Now you might see in the catalog, Stampin' Up! Has something called an aqua painter, and that just uses water. It works great. It doesn't give you the detail that the blender pen does. The blender pen lets you use this almost as though you were coloring with markers, but you end up with no lines. It literally blends everything together. Now I want to show you, okay, all right, so there's that. Again, clean this little baby off. Now I'm going to work on the grass. And all I'm going to do, grass grows in clumps, and I don't, when you're thinking, well, there's no grass there, I'm going to put it in because my bunnies look like they're kind of floating now, and I want them on the I want them to have grass. So I'm going to take my pencil, my old olive, and I'm going to basically draw tufts of grass, right? I'm going to kind of go over the bunny a little heavy, but I don't have to cover the whole thing. Okay, again, back to our blender pen. And this time, I'm going to leave some of the grass so that it looks like grass, but I'm going to fill in the spaces between the blades. Now, if I needed more, I could have added more. Let me show you another way to add more color. What if you thought, wow, this is just too, this is old olive, but maybe I want my grass to be a little more green and less olive. So I go through this and decide that I like what I see, but I want a little different shade. So I'm going to clean this baby off, right? Nice and clean. And then I'm going to grab, here's garden green. But I don't want to just paint on this. I'm going to take this scrap piece and I'm going to lay down some color, someplace where I haven't wiped my brush off. Just lay down some color, all right? And then I'm going to pick it up on my brush. And I'm going to test it before I go over to here and see if I like it. But I can put that down and see how that looks. All right, so you pick up the color and then you just paint with it, right? I keep trying to do it under the camera and I keep getting off camera. So that's really cool. That's the way to add color without going back and writing on what you just worked on. Now, the sky. In the sky, I'm using Pool Party, and I'm going to use, now remember this way I kind of was heavy-handed and I put that down. I just want to go really light back and forth with the side of my pencil. I'm going to leave some because it might be a cloud or it might be lighter. And now you're kind of tempted to leave it alone. But let me let you see up close. It shows all the lines of the pencil show right now, right? I don't really like that. So again, Mr. Blender Pen comes in and just some light flicks. Same kind of sideways motion with the blender pen. And it lets you spread your pool party around. Okay. Happy with my bunny. I'm loving her. I'm going to clean this off before I put it away and put my cap back on. Now, as a last final surface, if you want, I did not put this in the supply link, but remember, Wink of Stella can always come into play. Wink of Stella is probably one of the last things I learned what it was when I came to Stampin' Up! And thought, I don't know if I like it. I don't want anybody winking at me. Wink of Stella is a clear finish that goes over the top, but it has little bits of glimmer in it. And we can never have too much glimmer, right? It's a different look. Now these guys aren't sparkly. They're just watercolory. But what if I wanted a little something to them? So I'm going to add this to the top. It will bring your colors out a little bit more vibrantly. And it's going to be really subtle. I'm not sure how much you can see on the camera. I don't think you really can. But it adds just a tiny shimmer to the bunnies. It's not like glitter. It's not like, it's not heavy. It's really faint. It goes with a watercolor look. So then we take our Stampin' Seal and we add it to our circle. Let me zoom back out again. We put this right here. And then we're going to take some dimensionals. These are on the list. And pop those on. and then pop this on the front of our card. And this is just a really sweet everyday card. This is going to go like this. Now remember, you thought, why is she so lopsided with that? Well, let me show you. I'm going to take this, it's really stuck, and I'm going to tuck it underneath. Right there. And then these are really cute. These are the playing with patterns so they coordinate with that paper. And I'm going to take one of those and just, they already have a glue dot on the back, and stick that right down. All right. So there are our bunny cards. Super simple in design, but yet really fun. Okay. Now, what if I don't have this stamp set? I don't have all these things, but I really want to try that. Remember I said we could do it with the Simply Citrus kit. Now, I showed this last week, and if you look at the blog, you'll see I have a link to last week's where we made it the way it was supposed to be made. But what if we made it like so? These come with the pre-done cards, right? They're already patterned. They're already scored. Super simple. They have these great little additions that are already stamped for you. We're going to take a little bit of Stamp and Seal, which I'm having trouble with today because I'm not paying attention. If you just stop, you'll have trouble. You've got to go like this. Pull and roll and then up. If you just stop it and pick it up, that little gooey stuff goes right back inside like a turtle's head and you won't get it back. All right, so here in this kit, there's also these little circles that look like they have stitching on them. They don't, but they look like they do. So you can use this. I will tell you, and I'm going to show you both ways. If you use the one that's in the kit instead of the watercolor one, you're going to get that thing I was worried about, that kind of balling up of the paper, but I want to show it to you, so let's do it that way. In your kit, you get this block and you get your stamps. So I lined up my the lemon and the I think it's an orange, but maybe it's a lemon, I don't know. In the kit, it comes with Night of Navy. If I try and color with Night of Navy, I'm going to get everything with a Night of Navy tinge. So you're probably going to want to add StazOn to it. But let's see how that looks. I've got stamps on both sides of this block so that we can see them both. Make sure you have this good and inked. And you're going to line this up and stamp. And then thanks for being you. And we're going to pop that in right here. Okay. Aren't they, Bridget? I think they're the coolest things. I'm in such a fan of Wildly Happy, and I can think of a bunch of ways I would use it. So how would you color this? Now remember, this is not watercolor paper. So we're going to put our stuff down, but I'm not going to want or be able to blend it quite as much using this. So I'm going to need to color a little more carefully. This is pumpkin pie. So I'm going to color in circles. I'm not going to be able to do as much blending on this paper as I can on the watercolor, so I can't quite get the same look. I'm going to show you how it's going to go. You can do it. And I will tell you, if you think that this is the thing for you, if you know you're going to love this, then I recommend that you go with the watercolor paper. If you're not sure and you just want to give it a shot, well then give it a shot. I'm going to color in this around the edge. This is the rind of whatever that is. And then this is pumpkin pie. Now remember, this paper, it's okay. This is again the paper that came with the kit, but it's not the same as the watercolor paper. So I don't want you to be disappointed if it doesn't work quite as well. So as my deal today, if you order this kit, the Simply Citrus kit today, I will send you two circles, two watercolor circles, so that you can actually try it. Again, I'm going to take my blender pen and I'm going to do this, which is going to get rid of the lines in my coloring. You notice I have to stop talking when I color? I have a really hard time talking when I color. Okay. Wipe this off, make sure it's clean before you move on. So if you decide you want to give this a shot and you order the kit and the watercolor pencils, but you don't get the watercolor paper, I will send you some, because I really want you to try it with this watercolor paper. I'm looking for my scrap piece, which I cleaned up and threw away. And I'm going to wipe it till it's clean. And then I'm going to come back and do the inside. See, it works. You can do it. And it blends in and gets rid of any boo-boos you might have made. And then over here, I kind of left some of the Daffodil Delight on this so that it would kind of blend in with my pumpkin pie. Now I want to try and scrub so that you can see it. There it is. See what happens if you go too heavy-handed. The paper kind of bumbles up like that. It doesn't do that on watercolor. Watercolor paper doesn't do that. Now, it's not the end of the world and it will be okay, but that's what can happen, okay? And then we're just going to take some dimensionals. This one, some dimensionals, and pop this on the front of our card, and we are good to go. So this is a quick and easy way to add a little something to the Simply Citrus kit by adding your watercoloring technique to it. Now I'm telling you, there are lots of really talented artsy watercolory people who get really carried away. It's not me. I like coloring it. I like doing them so they look like I colored them. I like the cleaner, more, I don't know if it's cleaner. That's just how I call it. Anywho, thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming to the 1 o'clock technique. It's 1 o'clock my time. I know it's not that time for you. And we'll be back I will be back at 2 o'clock. Whoops, there's a wire right there. I'll be back at 2 o'clock, which is in about 20 minutes. And we're going to color with our Stampin' Blends so that you can see the difference. Thought I would show you what it is. If you saw my post on Saturday with the turtle, that's the sneak peek, because it's the same turtle we're going to work on today. So we're going to use that one again. Okay, thanks for coming. Be sure to go to caramiller.com and you will see all the information that I just gave you, including I will fix that simple sketch that's off by 1. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.